We'll be getting started in three, two, one. Hello, everybody. We are back for another episode of F It Will Fix It in Post. I am your host, Kevin Mumphrey, with my partners in crime, Victoria V.A. Jones and Karsten Hype Ferguson. How are you all doing today?
What's going on?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I'm hoping it's not a mating call.
Listen. We don't need none of that.
Nah. I was thinking channel my inner Gucci. Yeah.
You know who I thought you were? You were the candidate that year.
Oh
that
no.
did that.
Oh, you talking about yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were trying to do that. You know,
No, I definitely
election season. And
Nah, never that.
I was not prepared for this. So today we also have a guest. She's an active member of the Nashville film community. This young lady wears many hats. She's an actress, writer, and producer. So welcome to the pod, Miss Heidi Irvin. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing fine. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored. So what I'd like to normally ask at first, so what motivated you to start working in film?
Well, I was kind of into storytelling as a kid. I entered some contests and got more serious about it in college. I went to MTSU and I was in the theater program there. I guess I always sort of watched a lot of TV growing up. I was super into Nick at Night, stuff like that, and sitcoms and definitely Disney movies and stuff and that kind of thing. But I did a show when I was at MTSU. I co-wrote a musical with this guy named Brandon James Gwynn. And I would say he was definitely the first person who really believed in me, saw something in sort of the short plays that I'd written and some of my performances, and asked me to collaborate on this musical with him called Underwear the Musical. And it later became Underwear a Space Musical. And
I have heard of that. I heard
really?
of that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Well, we did it at MTSU Studio Theater, and then it took us to New York, and we were in the Fringe NYC Festival, and then we went back to MTSU and did it on the main stage in 2011, 2012. And then we went to the American College Theater Festival with it. Yeah.
I was at MT around that time.
Yeah. So that was definitely this time when I was just somebody sees something in me. And, the response to the show was really strong. And, I really love theater. And I feel, kind of more at home there. But just the sort of excitement of film and TV and how long it lasts and how you can share it with people. No one has to show up at a certain place and time. I think that's why I've been definitely more focused on film since my kind of playwriting days.
So you mentioned you was at MTSU, which I guess that makes three of us.
Yeah.
I was there from 2011 to 2014, actually. So did you learn mostly acting from MTSU, or did you also help with playwriting?
Well, I think my official concentration was playwriting, but I definitely did a lot of acting when I was there. Yeah.
So mostly playwriting?
Sure, yeah, playwriting.
Now, most people when they graduate, they end up going to Los Angeles or New York or I guess even Atlanta. So, what made you decide to want to stay in Nashville?
Well, I did go to New York for about a year. When that show went to New York, I just sort of followed it. It was a different cast there, and when it was over, I just sort of stuck around to see what would happen. But I didn't feel as creative there. It's of course a really inspiring city, but I worked two jobs a lot of the time, and the stuff that I was writing there, it just didn't have quite the same thing to it. I don't know. So I thought, well, maybe I'll come back home. And, Nashville has a really cool community. And I'm thankful for the Nashville film community for sort of letting me be a little bit of a big fish in a small pond. I've gotten to work with a lot of great people and learn a lot just by being a part of it. Whereas in New York, I just kind of disappeared a little bit there.
I know. I'd say the same thing because you actually introduced me to Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Funny
crazy.
how that works.
Yeah, when I was like, you put the call out for me. I was looking for people, and like, yeah, and then I got to work on the film with you. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would say people are a lot more approachable here in Nashville.
Welcoming.
Yeah.
It's
Welcome.
Yeah.
That's a
the
better
word.
word for it.
Yeah.
Because I've been able to approach people that I feel like, especially if I was in New York, they may want to fight me if I approach them.
You can like, so yeah, my big thing was like working on this movie Black Holler, which was crowdfunded by 2 different campaigns. And it was like, community theater. It was like community film. As you all know, you helped me out on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had, our director, Jason Berg, and a large cast, and we asked, to beg, and borrow, not so much steal that I know of, equipment and just volunteers. And, it was a big group effort, that took a couple of years, to complete, but it kind of miraculously all came together, and we're really proud of what happened. But I don't think it would have happened for me if I had been in New York or LA trying to do it. You need permits for everything, and everyone wants to be paid and should be paid, but it's like Mad Men. There's that quote, like, I want you to give me one for free. I think everybody kind of will let you do something for free for a little while.
Right.
Just to get the experience, and then you got to really pay them. And, but this was I'd been kind of volunteering and did a bunch of short films and like 48-hour theater stuff for people. So I had a couple favors maybe coming my way, but I definitely used them all up on Black Holler.
Now, you mentioned it, like Black Holler took a couple of years to make. Now, I don't think the average person that watches a film doesn't realize how long it takes to get a film made. They may think it's like a few months or something like this. So how many years did it take for Black Holler to be completed?
I think so. Most of the movie is set outside. It's about basically like it's an 80s horror comedy. So it's kind of making fun of those movies, or really being more of an homage to like Friday the 13th. And it's set like in the fictional woods of Black Holler. So the challenge of that is, it's great for when you do a period piece, so you don't have to have all these 80s sets, cause it's all outside in the woods. But, if it rains, your day's canceled. And if it's, you only have the spring to summer season when everything's green. So we had to stop and start, but it was basically 1 year, in the spring and summer when we filmed most of it, and that was 2015, and then 2016 where we had to kind of do some pickups, and the following year when it got to be green outside again, and then it was in post-production. And we so the Kickstarter was October in 2014, and then we premiered at the Belport April 2017. So it took a long time. There was a lot of footage, and we were definitely learning as we went. And so, I know some movies can be turned around in a few months, but they're, just have a lot of different circumstances than we did.
Now, how long did it take for you all to write Black Holler?
Well, that part didn't take quite as long. When we had the Kickstarter in October of 2014, we had it was a short film at that point. And when we raised the money and we just reached, fall beginning. We thought, let's spend a little bit more time and make it a feature film. Because even though we raised a certain amount of money, we knew that we'd also be matching that amount ourselves, the core sort of production team. So, I mean, it really maybe 3 to 5 months, but there was quite a long rewrite process too, where someone couldn't make it to set, or, we didn't have the car that we thought we were going to get. So we did rewrites while we were in production constantly. That too.
I know a lot about that.
Yeah, a bunch of improvisation, like
however you say it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I gotta improvise how to say the word.
So I got a question. So being a writer, when you write, how is it visually in your head? Like, do you see it clearly when you're writing it down, or is it like bits and pieces?
I think it's probably best when I do see it clearly in my head, but you want to give the reader enough to see it in their head,
right,
and write visually for them. But it also, you don't want to, have every single detail, because that, you've got to leave room for, if you really see it in your head is like, it's a redhead, or, a certain kind of person, and then they just, another person auditions and they don't look anything like the person you pictured, but they really fit the part well, and just gel with the other actors. It's really important to be open to that. I watched Shonda Rhimes' masterclass, and she talked. It's really good, and she talked about writing Grey's Anatomy and the character descriptions and the actors that they had reading for the parts and how it completely changed. And I was just like, that's so true. But that's kind of the fun thing about it too. So you don't want to give too much detail so that the actors and directors and set designers can't make it their own. But you want to give them enough material to get an idea of what you are going for.
Exactly.
Now, did you have co-writers for this film as well?
Yes, I worked with at first it was Rachel Ward Hagen and I, and we both went to MTSU, and we weren't super close then, but kind of when I came back to Nashville, she was here too, and we met up again at this place called the Cult Fiction Underground. It was in East Nashville. It's no longer there. It was the basement of, I want to say, Black Raven Emporium, and they showed The Walking Dead every week, and they showed old horror movies. And I kept seeing her there, and we just were like, we probably have a lot in common. And then we started talking, and it was like, oh, let's write a horror movie. That kind of spark and that naivete of just let's do it. Who knows what we're getting ourselves into. And I'm really glad that, we did that. And then she knew Jason Berg from being more involved in the communication side of MTSU. And he became one of our co-writers when we changed it from a short to a feature, and he directed it. So, I love collabing on stuff. I get a lot more done when I work with other people than when I try to do something by myself.
And Jason is solid. I enjoyed the time on set with him. It was cool.
So,
yeah, definitely.
So having other writers, it kind of helps with you on your process as far as writing the film?
Yeah, it's, I think, I have, coming from the theater background, everything's a collaboration, and we were forbidden to do stuff like writer, director, and star at the same thing. They were like, no, none of that. Get used to working with other people in every aspect, so bringing, a different flavor, everybody, coming together and bringing what their best, skills with. And with Black Holler, we were all quite overextended, and I wasn't always at my best because I was kind of wearing many hats. But it was a very amazing learning experience.
So, what would you say would be the, I guess, the differences between doing a theater production and then doing a film production?
Well, with the film, with theater productions, it's a lot of rehearsals. It's a lot about, the actors playing off each other, and there's, usually a script that's pretty solid. There's not really room for improvisation, typically, unless you're working with like the playwright, which is kind of unusual. And for me, it was a lot more clear. Like, we're going to rehearse, then there's going to be a set, and then we're going to have our costumes, and then we're going to, run it from beginning to end, and then we're going to premiere, and then, you're going to do it for a couple of weeks, and then we're going to close. But my experience with film has been, it's a little bit more, less predictable. And you're working with real elements, not props all the time, just like the weather being a factor and scouting locations. Other than just finding the place to have the production, you don't have all those decisions when you're doing a theatrical production.
I have a
and
oh, go ahead.
yeah. Oh, and the whole like kind of crew side is a little bit different. Although we had an amazing set designer and assistant director named Katie Gant, who I'd worked with a lot in theater, whose skills really did, I think, cross over really well from theater to film.
Yeah. I have a question on the crowdsource funding side. Like, why did y'all decide to go in that route? Because that's it's still relatively young in its phase. Like, was that something you just like, hey, here's something, or was it something that's been on your radar for a little bit?
I'd never done anything quite like it, and we researched, what makes a good one, and what do we need to do and which crowdfunding site should we use. And we decided to go with Kickstarter because, well, we knew that whatever we raised, we were going to need more money. But if we couldn't raise the first amount of money, which I think was $6,000, we're like, if we can't raise that, we don't need to try to do this because we're going to need to put up our own money later. And we kind of just wanted to gauge like interest, and it was, I think, a good thing because I normally really like to work in silence and then say, hey, I did this thing, come, But because we started with a Kickstarter, I could not work in silence. I was constantly like, I know, thank you for giving me money. It'll be here one day. That was my message to the world for like 2 years. And I was just like, oh, we have to finish this because people are counting on it. And I think that was a big driver in us actually finishing it, because we definitely hit walls and had some hard times getting to the finish line. But because people had already paid for something, we knew we needed to deliver on what we promised them. And then our second crowdfunder was with Indiegogo, where with Kickstarter, you have to meet your goal in order to get any money. But with Indiegogo, you don't. You can just get it. But I think they take more fees out or something. Don't quote me on that. But there was some reason why. And we were also allowed to continue getting money from them after our campaign was closed, which was interesting too. So, we just needed.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
I didn't know that either until people said, where's my credit? And I was like, oh, who are you? And they're like, I gave you $50. I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good to know.
Oh, let me write that name down.
Yeah,
write that name down.
We eventually, I definitely reached out to everyone as best I could. Like, please let me know if you never got your T-shirt or your DVD. Everybody that wanted whatever they were promised, I think, got what they were promised. You can still email me if you didn't. blackcollarfilm@gmail.com.
This is still an ongoing process.
Hey,
right.
But you know what? Like, I appreciate the fact that she will honor the thing that she said she will do. That's not as common as it should be.
Right.
Especially like she's like, hey, we said, hey, we're gonna do X, and they know they're gonna get Y, and then she fulfilled that. That's cool. I really appreciate that, Heidi.
I think it's a good thing to do for your reputation. I mean, some things it really it's out of your control. I mean, this movie involves like 200 people, and I think when it gets to that number, it's like, if everybody's not doing what they say, I mean, I have a lot of room in my heart for like movies that have some continuity issues or people who can't fulfill their promises, because I know how hard it is, but we were just like all committed to finishing it. Like, let's just do that.
Now, when you said with your crowdsource funding, you had it for 6,000. Like, what made y'all come up with that amount?
Well, at the time, I think we were using at that time we didn't know we didn't completely know we were going to be a feature. We had a short script, and we had, equipment from Jason Berg, the director and co-writer. He had a lot of the equipment, but there were some things we were lacking. Lights, for the most part. And, then also like we didn't have costume pieces, and, we needed to get some money for these things. So we just sort of roundabout like thought that was a good thing to start with. And then also when you have a crowdfunding campaign and you're promising people merch, you need to account for that too. And then we also knew that there was going to be a lot of subsequent, costs like film festival entry fees and everything post-production. But we were able to do it all for less than $15,000 at the end of it.
Man,
That's a good budget.
Not too shabby.
Right.
Now,
and people don't.
Yeah, it's a micro budget.
Yeah, people don't understand the behind the scenes and what it takes to actually make a film. So, hats off to you guys.
we all ain't got Marvel money.
Right.
Nor should we all have, because you can throw money at a train wreck and make an even larger train wreck.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there going, I spend hundreds of millions of dollars on this.
Yeah. I mean, we've all heard of cities and municipalities where they're spending a bunch of money on a hole in the ground, basically because the construction project never got off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's the same concept, exact same concept,
except the movie.
Yeah.
So when you started putting your film into film festivals, how did you go about the process of showing your film for film festivals?
Well, we kind of tried to look at, try to get pretty specific, like horror film festivals and some comedy film festivals and ones that were based in the South. A unique thing about Black Baller was that we had two female co-writers, a female producer, and our lead was female. And that also kind of, we would enter specific, we got into a really cool film festival called the Women Texas Film Festival. And we were kind of the oddball feature a little bit. I went there in Dallas, Texas to see it. And it was like the movie that was before ours had like big name actors in it. And I was just like, how did we get in this? But they were just like, we didn't know, we didn't think we were going to like the movie. And then we watched it and we all just kind of loved it. And it was really cool that they, it was kind of random how people took it, because some people really liked it. It is definitely its own kind of thing. It is a campy, low budget horror movie. So that's not everybody's thing. But yeah, the film, we also got Best Feature Film with the Crimson Screen Horror Film Festival out of Charleston, South Carolina. And we would do some conventions too, just ones really based in Tennessee, like the Full Moon Tattoo and Horror Convention and Chattanooga in Chattanooga.
Now, how would you
just kind of spread the word?
Now, how would you say that going to these festivals and conventions is helpful for a filmmaker?
it was good for networking. I haven't done anything really in the horror genre since then, but I kind of wish that I was a little bit more inclined to, because I've met so many people in that community where I don't want to just like kind of break those bonds. But it was still really good reaching out to other people who are interested in the same thing and who are doing, independent filmmaking. So that was really cool. Like just meeting people and getting to spread the word outside of your kind of network of people. But after that, we were on Amazon Prime for a while. We just independently submitted it, and we just got a distribution deal from this small company called Wild Eye Releasing, which we're supposed to be coming out in 2021. But, right now it's going through the, quality control process. So they have to check all of our stuff. And so we're hoping that all works out, because they have an even wider distribution. So it's kind of just like, when you get outside of your bubble, even if it's not like, Netflix or something, or like, Universal Pictures or something with a huge, reach. It's like every time you kind of get into another bubble other than yours, you're going to meet, maybe twice as many people. And it's kind of a cool, like, grassroots way of spreading the word. But it can take time.
So you did mention that you've gotten distribution. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
So for any new filmmakers, how would you go about getting distribution or finding or contacting distributors? However I said that.
I would maybe look at some movies that are similar to yours and reaching out to other independent filmmakers to see where did their thing go. We reached out to a lot of smaller distributors who would, give us the time of day, and who also worked with people that that either we knew or somebody that we knew them. And so we kind of see, well, let's see what, we got a few distribution offers, and this one was the best for us. And, we'd reach out to people who also worked with them and say, hey, I see that you distributed through this company. How was your experience? And then, we'd get some horror stories, or, people would say they're amazing. Tell them I sent you. So, it's really, I think, important to have those sort of that network of people that's kind of on your level, or even just a little bit above it, to sort of help you out along the way, so that, especially when you're not like in the Hollywood system or something, it's kind of hard to know like who's legit and what things you should take seriously, and just talking to other people, they'll tell you.
Yeah, that's actually pretty smart that you actually went with people that already work with them to see what their experience was. Because I've heard a few horror stories, and I'm pretty sure since you looked at distributing companies, you heard a distributor and what happened with them. The distributor. Yeah, I think that's
Distributor.
Now
Yeah.
I'm having a problem with
Distributor.
No. Like it's actually
distributor.
Distributor.
They're like an
Distributor?
aggregator.
Yeah, it went belly up. What, last year?
Yeah, they were like, oh, submit to distributor, pay us thousands of dollars, and we'll submit your stuff to Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu. But we definitely considered them, but it was just sort of like, we found out that you can actually just reach out to Amazon Prime yourself.
Which is it leveled the playing field, didn't it?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you would say patience is a very important attribute to have when doing this process.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, like nothing comes from fast in this.
Definitely not.
And then if you don't know no better, you get the first distributor deal, and you may just jump on it just to say I'm got my film dispute. I cannot say this word.
Yeah, but you're giving up a certain amount of control, so you better be ready, willing, and able to give up that control with the right person, because it's like being married to the person. and you don't want to lose your baby.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's plenty of horror stories like that too.
Because once you say yes,
Oh, once you
it's
sign.
a go.
Once your
That's
name
it.
is signed.
You know, it's not like, oh no, I want to take this back. You can't take it back.
Yeah.
And if you do, you're going to probably pay a lot of money to do so.
More than what they gave you.
Ooh,
Yeah.
bare minimum. Now, do you see yourself wanting to do more horror films?
I don't know. So my co-writer Rachel Ward Hagen that worked on Black Holler with me, we're really trying to focus on just screenwriting right now, and trying to make some movies or write some scripts that could be on like TV networks. We're kind of trying to break into like the Christmas TV movie
Oh, the
world.
Lifetime.
Yeah,
Those
Lifetime, Hallmark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need some of those.
We're like, well, you know, Rachel's a big fan of them, and we've kind of found out that a lot of those writers don't live in LA, and you know, you can work in those capacities like wherever you live, as long as your material is what they're looking for. So we've written a few screenplays, and I was actually laid off from my main job in April, and I've just sort of been able to take the time to sort of really dive in and work on my craft and learn more about how to break into the industry when you live 2,000 miles away. So I'll let you know if anything happens. But it's funny because I haven't been writing in the horror genre at all, but I definitely could see myself getting back into it one day, though.
Now, when it comes to writing, can you almost, like, I guess for a feature, like when you're like zoned in, how long can you write?
You know, I talked to somebody that said, if you can just write, you know, 10 pages a week, you know, it's a couple months and you have a feature film. I usually don't write 10 pages. Actually, so I have a co-writer. So the way we've been writing now has been you take act one, I take act two, and the format that these sort of TV Christmas movies, the structure is a 9-act structure. So, you know, we split the work sort of like act one, act two, act three, act four, act five, all the way to 9, back and forth. So I might have a week where I write 25 pages, or I might have a week when I write 10, or I'll take a week off and I'll think about like, who should I reach out to with this screenplay? And, you know, I'm more on the business side. So I kind of can't say, but I would say like, the most I would probably do would be like 25 pages a week. And the average is more like 10.
That's definitely more than I've done.
So when you're writing, do you guys like lock yourselves in a room and brainstorm before you start writing?
Well, how I've been writing with Rachel is that we have an extensive outline where we kind of brainstorm together and come up with the entire story. And sometimes we'll like, you know, we've gone on a couple like weekend trips before the pandemic. We went to Asheville one time, and we went to Santa Claus, Indiana, the home of Holiday World, another time.
Right.
To just like brainstorm and kind of try to get the whole story from beginning to end. And then we'll write an outline and kind of break up the work, so that we kind of give each other, you know, assignments. Like, it's your week, it's my week, especially when we're kind of working on other things. It's nice to kind of have a week off in between. And I usually read whatever she does, and then I just kick the idea around in my head for a few days before I just sit down and write it all.
Now, I've heard like some writers will write the ending of the story and then just write their way to that. Is that something you all do?
Well, we try to make basically like a treatment or like a synopsis, a long summary to guide us through, especially like working with another person, it's kind of good to be like, this is what we're thinking from the jump. And now we just need to, you know, put in the dialogue. And after we do that, it's like, okay, cool, we have a first draft. And then we'll read it together. And then we'll say, okay, let's work on these parts. Which is, I don't know, it can be a little bit different every time, especially if you kind of discover something when you're in the middle of the story, like, oh, let's actually rethink this. But when you're working with somebody else, it's kind of nice to like just always try to be on the same page and check in with them to make sure you're not overriding each other. Because that's awful.
Right.
Now, with having co-writers, does that help when I say when one of you have a writer's block, the other one kind of takes up the slack?
Definitely, like, I think it's nice to work with someone, you know, where you have complementary strengths. I started a project with another friend of mine that I used to collaborate with a lot on some theater stuff. And we're working on a screenplay, and I kind of told him like what my writing style is with Rachel, and, you know, do you think that will work for us? And we're kind of figuring out as we go. It's going to be a little different, but he is really good at dialogue, and I'm more of the like structure queen. And like, I have a little bit more knowledge in screenwriting. So I'm kind of like, ooh, we want to put, you know, kind of present this idea like this. Because, you know, like I said a little while ago, like, you want to be visual and have the reader picture in their mind, but you can't say too many things that are too specific because it could ruin the director's job or the casting director's job or the set designer's job. You need to not be so specific that there's no room for them to have any creativity too.
Now, there's a difference in screenwriting when it comes to film and theater as far as like dialogue.
There is, because just the like formatting is a little different, but it definitely helps if you have a background in either, you know, just good dialogue and characters and story, and, you know, a length that's maybe less than 2 hours. Like, all of that is similar, but in theater, you know, you have this set, and you can change your locations a few times, but you can't get too crazy because you're on the stage, you know, or you're going to have to go, well, what are we going to use, a projector to show that we're in a different place now? All of those things can be done, but it's kind of a good goal to like have minimal, you know, locations. And in film, you can be a little bit more open with that. But I will say that it helps when you're doing low budget movies to have fewer locations and fewer, you know, sets and fewer characters. And there's a lot more like just sort of like suspension of disbelief in theater. You know, if you're in a big crowd scene, that might be 10 people on the stage. But if you were doing it in a movie, it would look ridiculous to have a crowd of 10 unless you wanted to make it seem like there wasn't anybody there, you know?
Definitely.
I've been to some 10-person concerts.
Me too.
And you're like, man, like nobody showed up. Oh my goodness.
Like, well, concert was more.
Totally different concept.
It was
Very, very
the concert we had in our mind was different than what's happening right now.
But you know what? Yeah. Like in one of them, the artist actually performed very, very well. Like it was like 1,000 people there, and I was like, wow, that says something about them.
You know, those type of artists I actually do respect.
Yeah.
But when it's 10 people, you call that an intimate concert. But not, like, when you finish going through this project, if you could talk to, I guess, the version of yourself that got ready to start this process of doing this film, what would you tell that person?
Just sort of hang in there and try to, you know, keep yourself composed when things get a little out of hand. It's the only time that I feel like I'm regretful or just like, oh man, there was a day on set when I got some really bad news on set about the production and I didn't keep my cool very well. And I was just like, oh, I'm so embarrassed that this like person I didn't know very well saw me like that. Like that's their impression of me, you know? And it was like a very challenging to be on set at times. And I'm just like, oh man, that's not what I want people to think of me. So, but I also think it's important to sort of be forgiving. Like when we're all working on the micro budget movies and there's so many unexpected things that pop up, I think it's just like, you know, have grace and be kind and know that like we have to get through it together, is like important to remember.
No, that's good. It's good point to make. I mean, like if we could all live our lives like that, right?
Oh, that's a different story.
It's hard at times. I ain't gonna lie, it's hard at times.
Has any project that any of you all have ever worked on like worked out as you planned it or as expected?
Never. That never happens.
No.
Nah, like you're like you always got to react to something. So like like you start with a plan and you have to be agile enough to be able to work within the stuff that kind of drop off or appears.
Right. That's the one thing that I tell people that I've learned. Nothing goes as planned. Nothing.
I would honestly be scared if that happened.
Yeah, I need something to fuck up. I need something to fuck up to know that okay, it's gonna be cool. If nothing ain't fucked up, then I know something it's not right. It's not right.
I may just go, look, we got to start this all over.
I might just start throwing a fit or knocking some shit over just so stuff can get fucked up a little bit.
Like,
you know
okay,
what I'm saying?
I'm good. I'm comfortable now. Just, all right, we're back at square one.
You gonna bring somebody's toddler in to throw a tantrum on set?
Right. Something needs to happen.
Start throwing craft services at your lead.
One actress to just show up late.
Right.
Some got to go wrong.
Something has to go wrong. If everything's going right, I do not want to be a part of it.
Oh. Speaking of actress, like there's a project we were working on, Heidi, and the lead actress like sent Kevin a message. Said her
Lord.
cell phone was like at work, so she couldn't come to the set.
But she sent him the message though.
Yeah.
So she got the message to him.
And we think she just didn't want to be in
Oh,
it.
no.
So
Yeah.
we're ready to shoot, and we've got everyone but the lead actress.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, man, we've been
This
planning this
just
for a
happened?
while.
Yeah.
This is
What, like April?
No. This was back in this was back at the beginning of the year.
I thought it was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
we
You
had
trying to
her.
edge it out your brain, ain't you?
Oh man,
We had her, I think, at least 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wrote it.
Wow.
So
Literally on the
she had
day
plenty of time to lose her phone and find it, but she picked the day of shooting.
No. Had
No.
you already filmed stuff with her?
No.
Okay.
And
This was our first time dealing with her.
surprise!
grand opening, grand closing.
Yes. Did you just get another actor?
Oh, we got hella
listen.
lucky.
So this is
Oh,
we
good,
were
good.
very lucky. The one of the people who was helping us out brought somebody else with them. And she was an actress herself. You know, we knew her, but we didn't know she was gonna be there that day. But she tagged along that day and she was like, hey, let me look over the script. I mean, it was a short film, probably. It's probably about 10 minutes long. And she was like, I'll do it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
Oh, there was a lot of prayers answered that day.
Nailed it. Yeah.
And she nailed it.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really good. That well, you know, with Black Holler, we had our filming production took a long time, and we did lose an actor, and we recast the part before too much was done. But that second actor also fell through. And being the campy, silly horror movie that it was, the director and I were like, so we just have a different guy play the same role, change it every scene, and we did it. That's a spoiler, but we do have a character that's played by like 12 different guys.
That's
And they look different as the story goes on. It was honestly it was that kind of thing. Like, it's a lot of people's favorite thing in the movie. And it was a really fun thing to have on set. Like, who's playing Brett today? And it was just like the actors look different, like more and more different from one another as it goes. And it was really fun. And it was just like, wow, I being like on my like screenwriter side, I was like, that idea, I wouldn't have even thought to put it in the script. It was definitely just like, let's make a creative solution to this problem that keeps happening.
Mm-hmm.
But you can only really do that with one. We couldn't have every actor played by multiple people. But it worked for us. I'm glad that you all had the good actress that just was randomly there.
Because it was either
really
that
cool.
or a wig. And I wasn't wearing the wig.
Oh, we wasn't doing that. We were just gonna have to do a whole reshoot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna have to reschedule that whole
Yeah,
day.
we gonna have to reschedule.
So I was looking like, which one of y'all dudes look beautiful today?
Oh.
Not at all. None of
It
them.
was none of us. It was none of us.
And I wasn't finna play it. I was a director. There's no way.
Yeah.
I was
man.
almost thinking about it, too.
Oh, it wasn't gonna happen.
So, Ms. Heidi, one more thing I wanted to ask you. What do you feel like is the future of the film industry in Nashville?
I don't know. It's a kind of crazy time right now, just doing film anywhere. I worked on a team that just started filming this web series called Nashville Dads Club, and they just filmed it this weekend. And it's, you know, I don't know, it's like pretty small cast. Everybody had to get tested for COVID before they could be on set. And, you know, I think that there were some things that had to change with the, you know, licking icing off a kid's face or something. Like, you know, it was like, we'll do this, we'll do trick photography here. You know, it's like, I don't know. I think that it's happening, but it's just kind of slow moving. I know Nashville Film Festival is this week, and it's like, I guess all digital or all, you know, online.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, people have always been doing their own thing, and you know, every now and then we'll get a lot of productions will try to be here. And that's always interesting, but it feels like that's kind of not been happening since like Still the King and Nashville went off the air. I think it's been like less sort of big productions in industry. But I don't know, the Nashville film community is pretty cool. It's like, I love all the film festivals, the 48-hour stuff. And, I know a lot of actors from like MTSU who have agents and get a lot of work and, you know, go to different cities for a while and come back here and do stuff. And I think it's like not a bad place to be. I honestly think more people are going to move here. Like we need any more of that. But
we don't.
But I don't know. I hear people like friends in Chicago and stuff, and they're like, we're thinking about moving to Nashville. You know, everybody says that.
Tell them to stay where they at.
Yeah.
No. There's a place in Idaho. Yeah. Tell them to go there.
I've been telling them Chattanooga.
Yeah.
I go, this is my special. I said, no, go to Chattanooga. I said, look, it's an hour and a half from Nashville, hour and a half from Atlanta. So you can apply jobs at both places.
No,
just don't come here.
I want to be selfish though, like, cause when I go to Atlanta, I don't want to have to deal with that traffic there too.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, yeah.
Cause like it's constant construction.
That's never ending though. It's gonna always be like that in Atlanta. Yeah, that's wishful thinking.
Well, no,
right
I'm talking about Chattanooga.
Oh.
I'm like, yeah, I ain't got to Atlanta yet. I'm halfway there.
But that's usually my way of diverting people from coming to Nashville, because I've been getting a few of those messages too. So how's it in Nashville? It's horrible. You should stay where you at. Please don't come here.
Move to East Tennessee.
Ooh, I'm not there.
Way by the tip.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to nobody. I went there one time. I was like, I gotta get the hell out of here. Immediately. Well, Ms. Hyde, I want to thank you for taking time out to talk to us today. It's been very beneficial.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed talking to you all. I hope I made sense. I know I'm a little all over the place.
No,
just
you're
because
perfect.
of like
Oh, no,
my
you're
background. I'm like, I'm no expert on anything. I'm figuring it out.
We all are.
That's pretty much all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still figuring everything out ourselves, and that's what this show is about.
In
So,
progress.
right.
Works in
Yeah.
progress. Yes.
Even this show is in progress. We all doing a whole bunch of things and trying to make money in the process.
Yeah, I gotta move bags.
Oh
after.
yeah.
And once again, everybody, I'm your host, Kevin Mumphrey, with Victoria V.A. Jones and Karsten Hype Ferguson. And
what's the name of this podcast?
Fuck it, we will fix it in post. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap.
Holla.
Lights, camera, action. In a studio where local filmmakers talk to other filmmakers about the inside world of film. Cut! That's not the script. It. We'll fix it in post. Wonder how blockbuster movies get made and what really goes on behind the scenes? Well, stand by. Filmmakers Kevin Mumphrey, Victoria V.A. Jones, and Karsten Hype Ferguson explain all the details right here on It. We Will Fix It in Post podcast.